Hello, I'm Samantha and this is Boomer, and today we'll be practicing an ICN yoga class. So we'll be focusing on hips and low back and inner thighs and shoulders. So if you want to grab some props, we have a strap, a block, maybe a small pillow or even a blanket you can roll up, and we'll get started. So first we'll begin in a seated position. You can prop up your hips if you'd like with your blanket or your pillow or bolster. Just sit up nice and tall, lengthen through the crown of your head, relaxing, your eyes closed. And just begin to turn your attention to your natural breath. Just focusing on the rising of the inhale and the passing away of your breath on the exhale. Rising and falling of your rib cage and your chest. Notice if you're holding any tension in your face, just relax your eyes, relax your jaw. Release your neck and your shoulders. As you start to settle into the stillness of the posture, you can start to turn your attention to a smaller area, maybe this triangle of peace, this area around your nostrils and your upper lip. Just observing the breath in this smaller space as it flows in through your nose and out through your nose. You're not trying to change the breath or make it longer or deeper in any way, just observing it as it flows naturally on each inhale and each exhale. You might also notice the longer you stay in this seated posture, other sensations start to arise. Maybe you start to feel where you are holding tension or tightness, where you have aches or pains in your body. So without reacting to those sensations, just observe them as they come up. And then turn your focus back to your breath. working throughout this practice to turn your attention back to the present moment through your breath. Observing when your mind wanders away, just simply bringing your focus back to your next inhale or exhale. As you stay connected to your breath, you can keep your eyes closed and just take your hands onto your knees. From this seated posture, we'll take some cat-cows. So sitting down and just rounding the back, pulling your back towards the wall or the space behind you. Tuck your chin, drawing your belly in, rounding your shoulders. As you inhale, rock the hips forward, open your heart, roll the shoulders back and lift your chin. Exhale, round and tuck. Inhale, open and lift. Just moving with your breath. As you exhale, pulling the belly away from the knees. And as you inhale, open up through your front body. Take this a few more times with your breath and notice what you feel as you move. Next breath out, slowly find your way onto your hands and your knees. You're moving throughout this practice today, just move slowly and mindfully. No sudden movements, stay connected to your breath. And as you come to your hands and your knees, going into a thread the needle pose, as you inhale, raise your right arm to the sky. Open up through your right shoulder. And as you breathe out, draw your right arm underneath your left, like you're threading a needle, and lower your right shoulder and your right ear to the mat. You can keep your left hand there for support, your hips kind of stacking over your knees. If you'd like, you can even bring your left arm behind your back. Just find a little bit more of a twist, opening up through your left shoulder. Threading that needle, feeling the stretch through your upper back and into your shoulders. Shouldn't feel any pain in your neck at all here. Really, you shouldn't feel pain in any yoga posture ever. Pain is an indication that you need to back off a little bit. Just stay connected to your breath and your body sensations, and if your breath stops or you feel a really sharp, excruciating sensation, then stop what you're doing, back off. If you're able to stay with your natural breath, you can stay in the pose. Just feeling the stretch into your shoulder and your upper back. Adjust as you need to here. If for some reason you're not able to be on the knees, then you can set your hips back a little bit more. Kind of come more into child's pose and still get that stretch through the shoulder. And otherwise you can stay in that thread the needle. next breath, gently release your left hand down to the mat, pressing into your left palm. Open up through your right shoulder. Reach up through your right fingertips, releasing that side. As you breathe out, just letting your right hand come back to the mat. Take your knees a little bit wider, about mat width, big toes touching, and send your hips back to your heels, coming into Balasana, Child's Pose. You can keep your arms out in front of you, feeling that stretch all the way up through your armpits into your chest. If you're not able to bring the knees or the hips all the way back, you can take a pillow or blanket rolled up behind the knees for some support there, so you can sit back and kind of relax more into the posture if you find that you're not able to send the hips all the way back to the heels. Just adjust as you need to. Find that child's pose and release your chest towards the mat and your cheek or chin as well. Go to that point where you feel a good stretch into your hips. What we call the edge in the pose. If at any point you feel that edge softening, you're not feeling that stretch any longer, then find it again by maybe creating more space, taking the knees a little wider or reaching the arms a little further forward. Stay connected to your breath. If your head is turned one direction, you can go ahead and switch, turn your head in the opposite direction. Breaths here, see if there's any more space you can find in your child's pose. On your next inhale, slowly shift back forward to your hands and your knees. Draw your knees underneath your hips, palms under your shoulders, coming to that tabletop position. Then we'll take our thread the needle on the opposite side. As you inhale, lift your left arm to the sky. Open up through your left shoulder. And as you breathe out, slide that left arm underneath your right arm. Lower your left shoulder and ear to the mat. Again, you can stay supported on that right palm or maybe take it all the way back behind you. Opening up through your right shoulder. Using any props you need to here in order to find the stretch. Stay with your breath. Take another breath in. As you breathe out, release your right hand to the mat. Pressing back up. Inhale your left arm to the sky. Open up the shoulder. And exhale, gently release your left hand down. Sit back on your heels. So we're moving into hero pose. You can start sitting on your heels and just take a few moments, come to your breath, release your neck. Just reset here if you want to take some more seated cat-cows or any side twists. You're not trying to get rid of any sensations, you're just resetting the spine, coming back to neutral. With your breath. And then from here you can start to take feet, the knees a little wider apart. can come to sit all the way between your heels onto the mat. If that's comfortable for you, if you're feeling a stretch here but no pain in the knees or the shins or the tops of the feet or the hips, then you can stay right here and you can start to walk the hands back and just lean as far back as you can to where you start to feel a stretch in the tops of your thighs and into your hip flexors without the knees lifting off the mat. So you might come back onto your forearms and we go about as far as here to start. If you're not able to come all the way down to sit between your heels onto the floor, then you can take a block or a bolster or a pillow or maybe several, depending on how much height you need, and place it between your heels and come to sit on top of that. So that allows you to kind of get the same stretch as you walk the hands back, but not to be holding yourself up. Because if you're here and you're stuck and you can't go any further, then you're actually activating these muscles, and we want to relax the muscles in order to get a nice deep stretch into the fascia and the connective tissue, and the bones and the joints and all that good stuff. So if you need that prop, use it to find the stretch, to find that edge in the pose. If you're able to come all the way back and you're still not feeling too much of a stretch here, you want a little bit more. After several breaths or about a minute there, you want a little bit more. Place a pillow or a block or a bolster behind your back, and then you can kind of let yourself fall back and really feel a nice deep stretch. Sometimes for my uber flexible people, having the block between the hips, if you're able to come all the way back and flop back without feeling anything, if you place the block there and then you come all the way back, you get a little bit of a deeper stretch here, but you don't want to feel that you're engaging your low back at all. So again, you can use that block to modify or to enhance. So adjust as you need to with your props. Find your hero pose and come to your breath. Go to that point where you feel a good stretch, but you're still able to stay with your breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Notice when your mind begins to wander away, bring your attention back to your breath. Bring back to the present moment. Keep coming back. Notice when your mind wanders away, bring your attention back to your breath. At any point you need to readjust or move out of the pose for a breath or two, do so mindfully, and then come back to your breath and find your way back into the posture. It's easy to let the mind wander and for thoughts to come into your mind, and just let your mind and your thoughts jump around like a monkey jumping from a tree to a tree. It takes a strong mind to focus on the present moment. So this is what you're doing right now. It may feel like you're doing nothing because you're still and you're trying not to move at least. But there's strength in that stillness. You're strengthening the most important part of your body, which is your mind. So keep working, keep bringing your attention back over and over again. Keep coming back to your breath. Keep working. Just about 3 more breaths here. To come out of this posture, begin to tuck your chin to your chest. Use your forearms to press you up if you're all the way down on your back. Gently walking your hands in, moving slowly, coming out nice and slow. You can start to shift your weight forward. Lift your hips away from your heels or off the mat. Bring your feet and your knees back together and come to sit back onto your heels. Remove any props that are around you out of the way, and then roll over onto your hip and draw your legs all the way around and come to seated posture. Very nice. So from there, start to take your legs out to a wide V. It feels so good to release your knees after keeping them bent like that for a while. Going into this wide leg straddle. So taking your feet out towards the corners of your mat, coming into this straddle stretch. And you can take a moment here, readjust the spine, take any little twists you feel you need as you come out. Give your ankles a little roll. And then from there, you can take any prop you'd like in front of you. Maybe it's a block or that pillow. Start to walk your hands out between your feet. You might start up a little higher and maybe you feel a good stretch there and you want to stay right there. Go for it. Come to your breath, and then when you're able to go a little further, you can lower down a little more. Maybe you can walk your hands out a little further in front of you. You might be able to come onto your forearms on the mat or the floor. You might bring your chest down to that block or to the mat, or your head down. Just go to the point where you feel a good stretch. Stay there. Come back to your breath. Working to train the mind, strengthen the mind. This is what Patanjali was talking about when he gave that definition of yoga in the sutras, saying that yoga is the cessation, the ceasing of the reactions of the mind. So our mind is very reactive. All these thoughts all the time, firing away. But what yoga is the ceasing of all those reactions, all the fluctuations, all the worries, all the fears, all the different thoughts that fire away in our mind. It's that calming of the mind. And Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita gives a slightly different definition of yoga. He says yoga is skill in action. So we've put the two together, the two definitions together. When there is a situation that arises that calls for you to take action, you will have the calmness and the clarity of your mind and the skill to take that action appropriately. So sometimes when we think about yoga or meditation, or when we're in these postures where we're holding them for a long period of time, we're not moving, we're trying to stay still, it might feel like we're doing nothing, but really in that nothingness, you're able to be your most skillful, aware self, and you're able to take the most action. It's action versus reaction. And that's hopefully where our mind will be all the time. When we train for that. Training the mind to be clear and calm so we can take action when necessary. Take a few more breaths here. See if there's any more space you can find in this straddle pose. Slowly start to walk your hands in. Move that block out of the way, or that prop. And stay staying in your wide leg straddle, just to walk your hand over towards your right ankle, reaching towards your ankle with your right hand, and taking your left arm up and over your head. See if you can reach to your toes. You might be able to find the toes. If not, you can use a strap here or just reaching overhead. You don't even have to have a prop. You don't even have to reach your toes. You can just come over like this. But if you'd like to use that strap, kind of find the strap and pull yourself over. Or find your foot. Feel a nice stretch through your side body. And just turning your chest over that thigh. Allow your arms to release, your palms to face up, and let your head hang. Gently rise back up. Take a moment, reset. Any little twists or stretches you feel you need here? And then we'll switch to the opposite side. So again, reaching with your left hand now towards your left foot. You can grab that foot or toe, or if you want to use your strap on this side, go ahead and take it. Then take your right arm overhead. So again, maybe grabbing that foot or just reaching over. You want to feel the stretch through the side body. We're not here long, maybe about a minute. So just stay and get a nice stretch through the side, even if you can't touch your toes. Use the strap if you need to here. Come to your breath. And then gently begin to turn your chest over your thigh. Allow your arms to release, palms facing up, and your head to hang. Just breathe. breath, you can start to walk your hands in. Once again, coming back up to seated. Using your hands underneath your thighs, start to draw your legs back together. Nice and easy. Turning on your mat. Coming to lie down on your back. Hug both knees into your chest. Take a gentle rock from side to side, just massaging your low back. Take both of your knees and lower them over to the right side of your mat. Coming into a spinal twist. Reach your left arm out to the side. You can take your right hand to your outer left thigh here. Turn your chin towards your left shoulder. Once again, just coming back to your breath. There's a story of a young girl and her father on a beach. And as they're standing there looking out at the ocean, the sand around them starts to move. And all of a sudden they see these tiny little heads start to pop up out of the sand. And then hundreds of baby turtles start to emerge and begin to crawl towards the ocean. Go straight for it. And the young girl says to her dad, "Dad, how do they know where to go?" And he looks down at her and he says, "Instinct." These baby sea turtles, hundreds of them in a season, thousands really, because sea turtles can lay 2 to 8 nests in a season, so it's about anywhere between 50 to 200 baby sea turtles in one nest. They all know where to go. They go straight for the ocean as soon as they emerge out of their nests, out of their shells. And it's this inner compass that they have, this instinct. They know straight where to go. And we have this same inner compass. We have this instinct inside of us, this intuition that tells us where we need to go, the path we need to take, the actions we need to take each and every day. So when we come back to our breath, we center and focus our mind. We don't have all this noise, these extra thoughts clouding our instinct, clouding our vision and our compass. Then we can know exactly what actions to take and when to take them. That's why they say yoga is like coming home to yourself. On your next inhale, gently draw your knees back to the center. Give them a little squeeze, a gentle rock from side to side. And then switching sides, take both of your knees over to the left, using your left hand to press to your outer right thigh. Release your right hand out to your right side. Turn your chin towards your right shoulder. Find that spinal twist. Your next breath, gently draw your knees back to the center. Hugging them to your chest. From here, we'll take the legs over our head. You have two options for this. So if you need a prop, you can go ahead and grab that pillow or block to have nearby. So option one, you can lift the legs up and over, kind of rock them over the head. Try not to move your head around too much here. Support the low back if you need to, or you can take the hands to the mat. Just feeling this really deep stretch through the back body. You feel it into your back and even the backs of your legs in this deep forward fold. If you want more of a stretch into the tops of the feet, you can release the tops of your feet flat behind you and kind of pull the hips back a little bit, stretching into your shins and the tops of your feet. If you want more of a stretch into the low and the bottom part of your feet, tuck your toes and press your heels backward. You also feel more of a stretch into your hamstrings there. If you're not able to get the legs over your head, the other option is to lift the hips and support with that blocker pillow. And you can let the legs fall towards you and your hands can come to your thighs or to your shins. And relax the arms a little bit more by bringing the hands to your thighs. Just getting that inversion, allowing the legs to come over the head. Finding that nice stretch and that forward fold. You can also do this with just the hips flat on the mat and your legs straight up. So 3 options here coming into this inversion. Stay with your breath. One more breath here. And slowly start to release. Nice and easy. All the way down onto your back. Go ahead and set yourself up for Shavasana. So you can take a pillow underneath your knees if you like, some support there. If you're feeling cold, you can cover up with a blanket or put a sweatshirt on. Keep yourself warm. Just find that resting pose. Allow your feet to come all the way down and stretch out. Release your arms to your sides. Allow your whole body to take rest here in Shavasana. With your next breath, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your ankles and your wrists. Gently draw your knees into your chest and rock from side to side on your back. onto your left side, coming to a fetal position. On your next inhale, press into your palms. Find your way to seated. Draw your hands to your heart center. We'll close our practice by sending out positive energy. Thoughts and energy of loving kindness, of compassion, of gratitude, and of goodwill towards yourself and towards all others. May all beings everywhere be happy. May all beings be peaceful. And may all beings be free. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or your evening. Take care of yourselves. Be well. And if you like this video, you like this class, please make sure to like it down below and also subscribe. I'll look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.